When anatomically modern humans migrated into Eurasia, they encountered a species that looked strangely familiar, but clearly different than Neanderthals. The two groups shared a hominin ancestor that diverged roughly 600,000 years ago. However, later they recoupled up and interbred with one another. The lasting impact of this interbreeding can still be observed today, with people of non-African ancestry having roughly 2% Neanderthal DNA in their genomes. However, Neanderthal DNA is not evenly distributed across the human genome. Hi, I'm Louise, I'm an archaeologist, and in this video we're exploring this fascinating new paper by Alexander Platt, Daniel Harris and Sarah Tishkoff that explores how interbreeding between Neanderthals and modern humans was strongly sex-biased. Once the Neanderthal genome had been sequenced in 2010, geneticists started to notice regions of the modern human genome where Neanderthal DNA was virtually non-existent. These regions were called Neanderthal deserts. They appear across several autosomal regions and across much of the X chromosome. In fact, the X chromosome shows far less Neanderthal ancestry than the rest of the genome. Autosomal regions refer to any of the chromosomes that are not the sex chromosomes, and they exist in numbered pairs of 1 to 22 in humans. The X chromosome is a sex chromosome, 2 of which are designated in female cells, XX, and only 1 of which designated in male cells, XY. And the Y chromosome is the other sex chromosome that typically determines biologically male sex and is inherited from the father. One early hypothesis proposed Neanderthal genes on the X chromosome were biologically harmful to or incompatible with modern humans. Natural selection would therefore remove those Neanderthal genes over time. And this seems plausible because closely related species do often develop genetic incompatibilities during divergences. Some of these Neanderthal deserts in modern humans line up with regions in the Alti Neanderthal's genome that also lacks modern human DNA. In other words, both species may have been avoiding mixing genes in the same part of the genome. This could suggest those regions may contain genes that simply don't work together when mixed, a possible sign that humans and Neanderthals were becoming biologically incompatible. However, a new study completely changes this. Researchers examined the genomes of 73 women from 3 different sub-Saharan African populations that each contain less than 0.1% Neanderthal ancestry, and they then compared them with Neanderthal genomes from the Altai Mountains, Chugurtskia and Vinyia. If the two groups are genetically incompatible, then modern human DNA should also be rare on Neanderthal X chromosomes. The results revealed the complete opposite pattern. Neanderthal X chromosomes contain 62% more modern human DNA than their autosomes. This is effectively a mirror image of the pattern we were seeing in modern humans. We've got modern humans having few Neanderthal X chromosomes, but then Neanderthals having many human X chromosomes. So why did this happen? Well, the most plausible explanation is that interbreeding was strongly sex-biased, with the predominant pairing being between female modern humans and male Neanderthals. And the genetic grounding for this is that females carry 2 X chromosomes and males carry 1. So if most pairings were Neanderthal male and human female, human X chromosomes would enter the Neanderthal populations more frequently, and Neanderthal X chromosomes would rarely enter the human gene pool. And this produces the exact genetic pattern the researchers observed. And if you're enjoying this video so far, please consider liking and subscribing, as it really helps my channel to grow. Humans and other mammals frequently show different demographic and dispersal processes by males and females. Key example of this is patrilocal societal structure, where females are much more likely than males to relocate to their mate's population of origin. This has social implications, like the male's family having more authority and females losing social networks they grew up with, but it also has biological implications, as it helps maintain genetic diversity by ensuring different genes are brought into a population. In my last video, I discussed how Neanderthal social structure was likely patrilocal, and at Chugurtskia, one simulation suggested that 60 to 100% of females in the group migrated into it. If both Neanderthals and modern humans practiced this, it would increase modern human females' movement into Neanderthal groups, and this alone would increase the number of modern human DNA on the Neanderthal X chromosome. But the numbers don't fully match this. The observed ratio in the study was 1.62 excess of human ancestry on Neanderthal X chromosomes. The maximum ratio possible from female migration is 1.33, and that extreme scenario would require females to always leave their groups to mate. And even then, the numbers still don't fully match what we see genetically. So migration patterns alone can't explain this bias. Furthermore, there is evidence that interbreeding did occur both ways. The composition of Neanderthal Y chromosomes shows some modern human males mated with Neanderthal females, but these pairings were rarer. The data shows that some kind of preference was being expressed, but we don't know whose. Either species may have had a certain preference. And the exact cultural context of how these pairings came to be is unknown. There are several possibilities and they likely overlap in different factors, but these are some of my ideas. The patrilocal societal structure may have made females naturally the ones moving around between different groups more frequently. The pairings may have occurred at group gatherings or seasonal encounters between different tribes when they happened to cross paths, and occasionally they may have just crossed paths with a different species. The mate preference may have existed. Maybe human women did just find Neanderthal men much more sexy, or vice versa. There's also a possibility that these groups exchanged females and traded, or there's a possibility of coercion and kidnapping, which can't be completely ruled out. While the genetic data has revealed patterns that existed, the social dynamics behind them still remain elusive. Comment what social explanations you think is the most plausible. And what we still don't know is, why were Neanderthal males and human female pairings more common? Were these consensual pairings, alliances, or were they born out of conflict? And did physical appearance, status, or culture influence this mate choice? Be sure to comment if you found this research surprising. I found this a really interesting one to read and explore, and please make sure you like and subscribe if you have enjoyed, as it really helps push my channel out further. You can also find my books linked in the description below to see what books I recommend. My favourite Neanderthal book would have to be this one, which is called Kindred by Rebecca Ragsites. It's like the best book on Neanderthals. And you can also support my channel now on Ko-fi if that's something you would like to do. And thank you for exploring the distant past with me. There's always more to uncover, so I will see you in the next video.